Morning park runners. It's a little bit overcast and a few drizzles of rain this morning on a Saturday morning. A sign that autumn's not far away. It's nearly 7 o'clock and I'm going to drive down to Braunstone Parkrun, which is in Leicester this morning. So I'll set off now and catch up when we get there. It says parking is in the leisure centre car park. That's where I've parked. As I said when I drove in, I parked in the leisure centre car park. It says to park in there. It's a big car park and this is the leisure centre, and I asked if I could use the toilets in there and they were fine with that. The park is just across the road. I see a couple of people walking that direction already. So we'll wander across here and catch up once we're in the park. So I'm just walking into the park now to find the start. The postcode I used was LE31JN. And that took me to the leisure centre. The parkrun event number today is 547 and they average over 300 park runners here, so it's quite a large park run. The course, looking on the website, said it's 2 clockwise laps. It did say there was a little coffee van at the finish. I'll check that out as well. But there is a cafe in the leisure centre and there are toilets in the leisure centre, which it was no problem when I asked if we could use them. So while I'm just walking up to where the start is, I know this parkrun yesterday said they could do with another 3 volunteers for marshal posts. If you can volunteer to parkrun, you can either just turn up, you can go onto the parkrun website page and under the volunteer tab there's an email address you can email in, and they would get back to you about different rules. All rules are pretty easy to do really, and they'll all be explained to you. And you can also opt in on your parkrun profile to any parkrun, but if it was your home parkrun you can opt in on there and say you'd like to volunteer, and then when there's requests for volunteers they'll send emails out, and any help is appreciated whenever you volunteer. So we've just got to near where the start is, I think. There's the finish at this end and all the volunteers are here already and starting to walk out along the course and put the signs in place, etc.
I would say the lure will be too small.
Braunstone. It's a 2-lap course. We normally start over there, and at the run briefing will be here, and we'll walk over to the start. I think today there's a problem with the gate, so we might be starting in a slightly different place to just follow the crowds. But it's a 2-lap course, so we run around the edge of the park. When you get to run past 2 lakes, and on the second lake there's loads of marshals today. So on the first lap, you go round the edge of the park. On the second lake you go through some woods, and on the first lap you turn right and go up a hill, and then you'll come back at the top of the hill again, and it'll go round the second lap to the finish that's down there. The only hazards on the course really, there's some uneven surfaces to watch out for. There's a few speed bumps around on the corner and 2 areas of open water. We don't have right of way of the paths like normal on parkrun. If you finish at the finish funnel, cross the finish line, take a finish token and have it scanned, and please return all finish tokens. And children, there's no children under 11 here, so that's fine, no dogs. So good luck and enjoy the parkrun.
Well, we've just had the first timers welcome, and there's about 5 minutes to go, and there's a lot of park runners here already and waiting.
Our 547th Braunstone park run today. Thank you for being aware that we do not have the right of way here in the park, and for respecting the other people in the park. Thank you to those with dogs for keeping them on a short handheld lead. Thank you to all the children under 11s and the adults with them for keeping together through the run. Thank you for doing that. Thank you all for expecting the volunteers by entering the finish funnel, walking all the way to the end, taking your finish number and then handing it in to one of the scanners and not taking it home. Thank you to everybody who donated to buy our defibrillator, which thankfully nobody has had to use yet. It is kept up here at the finish, along with a first aid kit. Thanks and well done to Susie, who's graduating her couch to 5k this morning. And to Karen Parkin, who's doing her 50th park run with us today. And finally, thank you to the 30 or so of you who volunteered your time to put on this park run today. As well as everyone who has volunteered before to make the previous 546 runs possible here in Braunstone Park. And to express all that, and to express anything else you would like to express today, let's have a round of applause. Okay, that was going to be the end, but there's an extra bit because the gate there, you can't get it open. So we're going to have a little reroute round it. It's just a little shufty round onto the grass. It should be quite straightforward. Just be careful when you're coming down at the start. You'll see a marshal sending you just around the gate into the trees, so don't bomb down too fast, and it's a little bit grassy, should be fine. So let's head over to the start. Thanks everyone. Yes, you are.
It's just a short walk across to the start, and as just heard the run director say, one of the gates is closed, we can't get it open, so they're just doing a slight detour around it. Looks like a really good turnout, certainly more than 300, which is the average number for this park run.
Enjoyed your team. Yeah, we'll do, mate. I'll enjoy it. And then the next thing, the get the team good. Great.
I didn't get through that.
See you later.
Lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, tail walkers. Thank you. Well done, you two. Thank you. Here we go. Thanks. Thank you. Oh, I couldn't do that hill again. Thank you. Well done, go for it. Great running. Thank you. Thank you. I have all of it. I'll send you a copy later. Thank you. Thanks very much. Then finish funnel, you get your barcode tokens at the end, and then when you come out the finish funnel, they scan your tokens there, and please don't take your barcode tokens home. Thank you.
All the way through the finish line, Jack. Come on, push it all the way through the finish line. Well done, great Jack. Right, Morning.
Morning.
Well done.
Thank you for volunteering.
It's good fun.
And unlucky for some, 13. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So I was just talking to the run director. Unfortunately, I thought I'd pressed record on my camera and I hadn't. And I was just asking him why he volunteered, and he said obviously he did it sometimes when he was injured. But he started back in 2012, and he also runs as well. It's very interesting talking to run director and to all the volunteers as well. I'm just walking down now to see the last volunteer before you turn into the finish. Here he is. Just thought I'd come down and see you after having spoke at the start. So I'm just with David now. I spoke to him quite a lot before the start, and David's volunteering. He's the last volunteer you see before you turn right into the finish. So thanks for volunteering. Just tell me why you volunteer.
Hi, yes, well I don't mind volunteering because we have to run, but we also have to share the load, so I volunteer 4 or 5 times a year. If everybody does that, then it works well.
That's great.
It works really well. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I asked about the coffee van, and they said it does turn up some weeks, but not every week. So I'm just walking back to the leisure centre, and I'm going to go and get her a tea in there. Yeah, get people in behind. So this morning I'm with Nick. Nick's this morning's run director at Braunstone Parkrun.
Hello.
If I can just ask you a quick question, why you volunteered? And we all obviously appreciate it, but without all the volunteers, Parkrun wouldn't happen.
Yeah, well, we've got to keep it going. I've had a lot of I've got a lot out of the parkrun. I first came in 2012.
All right, yeah,
and,
before me then. Yeah, I was 2014 when I started. So yeah, that's fantastic. And you run as well, or?
I do run. Yeah. I've had an injury, so I've been volunteering a lot this year.
That's
because of an injury.
I've got quite a few volunteer credits, and they're all from injuries when I've not been able to run. Sometimes it's an injury where I can do tail walking, which I enjoy. You know, to me it's a 45 minutes to an hour's nice chat with someone.
Yeah.
You know, and trying to talk to them about parkrun or anything and encourage them to come back. So yeah, thanks very much for being run director today, and
thanks for making the video.
Really
look forward to seeing it.
You're welcome. Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
So today's course started on grass for about 50 to 100 metres. You then go on to tarmac. Today the gate they couldn't get home, so we had to run just into the little bit of the wood to run round it. Once you've run through there, you come to the start of a long 1 kilometre gradual downhill, and that class that as the start of your first lap. So you run around the park, come back to that point, you run round again, and then before you go back up the hill, you then take instead of going right up the hill, you go straight on, cross another little bridge, and then you turn right onto the field where the finish is, and the finish is on the field next to where everyone gathers to start with. So as I said, sort of once you start the first lap, it's downhill on tarmac. You then take a right turn, still on tarmac, past a couple of lakes, and then you go over a bridge and then a sharp left, and then that is onto what you would call a trail course. So today I'd got road trainers on, and it was slippy. It was hard to find some grip. And once you've run through a bit of the wood, you then go up it's not a steep hill or a long hill, but it's just recovering that back to the top of the park. Luckily you only have to do the hill once. As I said, on the second lap before you go up the hill, you take a left, cross over the little stream, then a right turn onto the field, and the finish is on grass as well.